Javed teaches science at college. He's been in Australia for more than 30 years, coming to Canberra in 1988, 2 years before the first Gulf War.
The effect of that war on Muslims in Canberra was quite profound. And also we became the target, generally, not personally, but generally became a target of not only criticism but also ridicule. When we saw ships of Australian soldiers, for example, leaving for Iraq, and they were mocking the prayers of Muslims. And of course, the whole idea was that if these people were informed, they would have done things differently. And that was sort of, you can call a catalyst for us to do something.
The determination of 8 people, Javed, his wife and 3 other couples, to do something has been the driving force behind the creation of the Canberra Islamic Centre.
We have got now about 1,200 members, live members at CIC, 45 different nationalities, and they speak about 30 different languages. They comprise not only the Sunnis but also the Shias.
This is the story of a community that speaks more than 30 languages and comes from more than 40 countries. And this is the centre where they all meet. The Islamic Cultural Centre in Canberra is unique. A place of worship and of study, a library and a centre of learning. It is also a building in which families gather together in ways which were not possible in the mosque.
We couldn't invite the families in, the husbands and the wives and the kids, to sit down together at a function as a family. And they do emphasize that family is the basic unit in Islam.
A centre, a community, a faith. In this film, we will meet several people with different connections to the one place.
I met my husband at high school, and before that I didn't know anything about Islam. And it was through my husband that I learnt. I just started asking questions and researching a lot about it. And for me, it was just a religion of peace and a religion of finding yourself. And it just appealed to me straight away, and it was just something that I felt that it just felt so strong within me, and I knew that it was the right thing.
Katrina met her husband when they were at school in Sydney. They moved to Canberra so that she could study forensic science.
Like, my family are very accepting of it, especially my mum and my dad. However, I think it's more of they just don't know enough about it. They just don't have enough information to understand why I would want to convert to Islam. So day by day I'm trying to inform them of it and let them know, like trying to expel the misconceptions and things like that. Friends were a bit different. I actually converted when I was in Year 10, so I left high school with one friend, which was disappointing, but for me it was good to know that I had one true friend there. But it was just a matter of acceptance, and people didn't understand, so they couldn't accept. So
the Canberra Islamic Centre was built and continues to function because of community support and donations. Fatima is an artist who came to Australia from Morocco. The paintings that she has donated adorn the centre's walls.
Yeah, people contribute with their time or money or whatever they can afford to give. I couldn't afford money, so my work was there, and I want the world to know about it. I wanted everybody to know how beautiful Islamic art is. Growing up, it was all the Islamic design and the writing and the patterns and everything was sort of, it's all around you. In fact, when I went overseas, I missed that. That's why I kept wanting to paint mainly the Islamic design and the patterns and the writing and the colors. My mom always encouraged me to do art. She always bought me paper and paint. Unfortunately, she died when I was 14. Everything I've done after it was for her more than myself in a way.
Fatima met her Australian husband in America, and marriage brought her to Canberra.
I find it very isolating here. I think it's because of the geography of the place. It's wherever you are too far from everywhere, in a way. If you don't make an effort to meet other people, you stay in your own circle. And I think the Islamic Center is doing a good job in joining many communities from Islamic background, but they're all from different backgrounds. I think that's very good achievement, because you see a lot of people from different background in one place.
Knowledge is power, especially when it is used for the benefit of mankind.
In Islam, the heart of knowledge is the book. At the Islamic Cultural Center, the heart of knowledge is the library, which is open to all, and which was recently enriched by the gift of the personal library of the late priest and Arabic scholar, Father Fitzgerald.
The first word revealed to the Prophet Muhammad was read, and of course we know that he was illiterate, but the word was read, and it was repeated 3 times. And I think that's a significant thing.
Read, speak, share. Center exists so that a community can come together and together address the fears and the prejudices which exist within the greater community of which it is a part.
Wearing the hijab in public, sometimes that can be a bit hard just because of the looks that you'll get or the different attitudes or behaviours that you'll get, people treating you. I mean, they're very judgmental looks. I think people sort of think that I don't understand English properly. I get a lot of people talking to me slowly so I can understand them. I was actually giving an oral presentation in one of my classes, and I got up to give my presentation, and by the time I'd finished it, there were so many stunned looks on everyone's face. They just couldn't believe that I was allowed to get up and give my opinion. For me, that's what my role as a Muslim woman is to tell people, look, I can get up in public, I can have my opinion and voice my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that.
For somebody like me who's still English is a bit of it, I didn't grow up thinking in English. Art, I find that it's my language here. I find that I express myself much better. I call this piece I Will Write, I Promise. It's the thing what you say when you leave your home, when you leave your country. And as you could see, I've done every piece on a postcard size. So it's all about writing back home and telling people your experience here. So the writing and the cards and the letters start to pick up the influences from the Australian landscape. And the more I printed, the more I felt good. So this piece got bigger and bigger. The original idea was going to be much smaller than this. Most of my work carry this writing that I wrote as letters to my mom. Although my mom is dead, to me, by writing this letter, it was as if she's still there. I left Morocco in 88. So most of my work was about staying in touch with my birthplace. But later on, with everything that's been happening politically in the Muslim world, I hoped to be the voice of my Arab Muslim community.
We come across people who do not know anything about Islam, and they ask certain questions where we just where did you get this information from? For example, the treatment of women. It's portrayed as that the Muslim women have been oppressed, subjugated, and they're forced to wear the hijab, and they're forced to do certain things. But from Islamic point of view, hearing those things just makes you want to think.
And for me, trying to show people that women aren't oppressed, I think it all has to do with your behaviour and your attitude and the way that you portray yourself. For me, my friends at TAFE know that I'm not oppressed and I'm not forced to wear the hijab simply because I eliminate those thoughts from their minds and I show them that I am a liberated person.
Before I use the calligraphy as an element that's just a reminder of back home. But it was more fluid lines that are used in the writing in part of the composition. But now I want the writing to be read by somebody who can read Arabic. I want it to be like a newspaper headline. Sometimes I feel very angry. That's why I feel I'm lucky to have art, to have my paintings, to be able to express my ideas to people who could see it. The recent war on Iraq, it's a good testament of what's been happening. The place now turned to a cemetery. I don't care anymore whether Islamic art look beautiful. I know that for sure, but to me, I need much more. I need a message to come across. I want the pieces to speak to the people and also to show the opinion you don't usually see.
This is a recent work I've done about people in detention center. As you could see, this person here, it refers to the fence and the dog bowl, because the shocking experience for me to see how dogs are treated. They are taken for walks every day. You go to the shopping center, there's a whole alley just for dogs, for food and toys and things just for dogs. But how could you treat dogs that way and still treat a human being in another way?
In Islam, there is no difference between black or white, or whether you have money or you don't, or whether you have education or you don't. The humanity is the most important in Islam before anything else. And I recall an incident that personally happened to me one time. I just had my first baby, and walking through the shops, I heard this baby cry. And instantly you react as a mother about to sort of nurse the baby, because I didn't. Then later on I realized that baby could be from any country, from anywhere, from any faith. It didn't matter. It's that instant reaction I had that was the most important. That sort of was stronger than me. But it was a humane reaction. And that was very inspiring for me, so much. In my opinion, most religions have the same goal. They are to achieve peace within the person. And peace of mind and soul will spread around the world. And I mean, wouldn't that be a great place to live?
We are going to set an example of what Muslims are in Australian context. So a lot of those wars which we have mentioned earlier, like the Iraq-Iran war, they are cultural baggage for us. We have got nothing to do with them now and in future. We have to set up as an example that we can leave our cultural baggage behind and become Australian Muslims, and still set a positive example of providing a mentor role and also the information and the knowledge.
In a multicultural society, we live side by side with people of contrasting traditions, distinctive histories, and diverse religious beliefs. The Canberra Islamic Centre is dedicated to information and knowledge because, in our multicultural society, information is knowledge.